Hello students, parents, and internet stalkers. This is Mr. Russell, first name Andrew, here to welcome you to the 2015-2016 school year at St. Charles High School. Woo! It's very exciting. I could use another week of summer, but I guess 11 was enough. Anyway, that's me. You can see my contact info here. It will show up again at the end of this video. And it's also available online, and I will probably give it to you 10 other places within the first week or two of school. So, as I said, that's me. I'm starting my 8th year here at St. Charles High. I think it's a great place. I love to be here. I have a wife, been married just over a year now. Her name is Kaylin. And I have a dog. Her name is Hermosa. Don't ask me what kind of dog it is because I have no idea. She was a rescue. Why am I here on this video talking to you? That's a good question, and that's something that will be important for the rest of the school year because I'm trying something. I actually started trying it last year. This year I'm refining what some people call flipping. A flipped classroom is a classroom where you have kids watch some of the things that you would be lecturing over in class at home beforehand, and then they come to school, and that gives us more time to do things like that. And there's two main advantages to it. The first one I already mentioned. It gives us a lot more time in class to do things. I've actually crunched the numbers a little bit, and a lecture that might take me 30 or 40 minutes in class, I can get into a 10-minute video, and that obviously is a huge time saver. It also allows students to go back and review things that they need more work on, and they can do that independently. They can do it at their own place because, as you may have already figured out, you can pause this video and stop and write things down or rewind it. You can do whatever you want. That's a little more difficult in class. There will still be some lecture in class, but most of it will be review over the videos. This also is a great way to differentiate lessons. I can take the information on who has watched the video and how much they got from it, and I can build my lesson plans based on that for the following day. So this is something we will be doing this year in all 3 classes: biology, advanced biology, and forensic science. I'm really excited about it. I did it in biology last year, and I think it went pretty well. And there's some new things I want to try that I think are going to make it go a lot better this year. So let's talk about how, excuse me, you can get access to these videos. In Edpuzzle, I can add questions to the videos so that when you get to a certain point in the video, a little question pops up, and then I can go back and check the website to see if people have watched the video and to see how they did right or wrong on the questions that went with it.
This class we talked about ATP.
So you'll see this question pops up down here. They can be multiple choice, they can be open-ended. There are a lot of different things you can do with those. So that's Edpuzzle. All students will be creating those accounts. That is something we will do in class within the first week or so of school. Okay, so let's move on. So that's where the videos will be located, but where can the kids go to get access to them? There's actually a few different places, different things I'm going to be using. All students are assigned SCSD, that's St. Charles School District, Google accounts, so they will have access to Gmail and Google Drive, which is just it's a way to save documents, and it's also a place that you can make documents. And we will be using that extensively in class this year in all 3 classes. Okay, we'll also be using Google Plus, which is kind of a social media type platform. It's kind of a Facebook knockoff, except it's something that we're just going to use as a way to discuss things in class, and it's also a place for kids to go to find resources. And you'll notice that I have circles down here for each one of my different classes. So that's Google Plus, and we will talk more about that in class, and you may even find another video up here later on, but that's a place that kids can go to get this information. In addition to that, we will be using Google Classroom, which is really just an easy way for me to assign work in Google Drive, and it's very cool. The kids will all join one of my classes, and then when I assign an assignment to them in Google Classroom, it will actually make a copy of it for every student in the class. So it's very cool, and also allows me to grade it in there and also comment on their work in there as well, and their assignments. So many of them will be in here as well. Okay, another way I like to get information out is a site called Remind. It used to be called Remind 101. Okay, and this is a really cool, safe way for teachers to get in touch with students. So just like in Google Plus or Google Classroom, I will set up individual classes in here, and each one of those classes, I'll be able to send messages to those students and let them know that there's a video they need to watch for tomorrow, or that there's a test, I'm sorry, next week. And also parents can join these classes as well too if they want the same updates. And you can get an app for a smartphone that will send them to you that way. And also, whether you have a smartphone or just any old phone, it can send you text messages, and it can also send you emails too. And it's also something that once you're logged into it, if you decide you don't want my updates anymore, you can opt out of it and it won't send you anything anymore. And it's a cool website because it allows me to send texts like that, and I don't ever actually get the students' phone numbers, and they don't ever actually get my phone number. The whole thing goes through this website called Remind, and that's another thing that there'll be more information on during class. Okay. Next thing I want to discuss is this grade sheet, and there will be a separate one of these for each one of my 6 classes. We have had some problem with students and parents not understanding what they're seeing in our grade book. And so what I'm hoping to do this year is keep an updated grade sheet, which will have assignments, and then some assignments, you know, maybe the students, I just want to show that they turned it in. This is especially important with standards-based grading. And maybe I want to actually give them a score on it. And what you're going to see on here is, instead of names, I'm going to put student ID numbers on there so students and parents can look at a schedule or an online account and find out what their student's ID number is, and then they will be listed numerically over here. And so you find your number. If you're 1025852, then you'll know that this is your grades. I'm not sure at this point if I'll be able to set this up to actually total a final grade. I just wanted a really simple, easy way for students and parents to go and see how they were doing in class as far as what's getting turned in and how they're doing on those assignments. And this is a brand new thing for me, so it will certainly be evolving throughout the course of the school year. Okay, next thing, what's required for class? Pretty simple. They will need one or both of these, which seems like it should go without saying, but you would not believe how much time I spend at the beginning of class most days making sure that everyone's got a writing utensil. So bring many of them. The other thing students will need is one of these. This is a folder, obviously, and what it needs to have is just a few things. It needs to have twin pockets. Okay, and it needs to have, and this is something that not all folders have, they mostly have twin pockets, is these metal fasteners in the middle. Some people call them brads. And that seems a little nitpicky, but that's very, very important, because when I grade 120 of these things, or go through them, I guess, to see if students have what they're supposed to have, it's really, really easy and fast for me to flip through it like a book. So what we do is we 3-hole punch everything, and it'll go in here in a specific order, and that way students can always find things, and we save a lot of paper just because I'm not constantly making new copies of things. So twin pockets and metal fasteners. Last thing I want to discuss is my classroom policy on phones. Obviously, modern society is very attached to smartphones. I have one. I love it. I will not be on it in the middle of class instead of teaching, because that would be irresponsible. I expect students to at least attempt the same kind of responsibility, and I feel like the best thing I can do is help them learn that instead of expecting them to just forget that they have this magical device in their pocket that connects them to the rest of the world. So while we are working on things in class, while I'm talking, or while they're doing a lab or anything like that, they should not be on their phones, and there are no excuses for that. If they show up a few minutes to class, or a few minutes early to class, excuse me, or if we have a minute or two at the end of class when we're not working on something, or if we have a short break in the middle, which we may because we have long 80-minute blocks, then they can be on their phone as long as they're not doing anything inappropriate. Obviously, that will still get them in trouble. So if you have any questions about that or anything else, feel free to contact me. Thanks for tuning in. Hopefully we see you all at back to school night and or parent-teacher conferences. Have a good day.